Picture this. You're just driving along, minding your own business, and out of nowhere, bam, you're in a fender bender. Your heart is racing, you're stressed, and on top of it all, you know you have to deal with the insurance company. Well, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a situation we all absolutely dread and breaking it down into something totally manageable. Specifically, we're going to demystify the entire process of filing a car insurance claim with shelter insurance. Whether you literally just had an accident or you're just being super smart and planning ahead, you are in the exact right place. We're going to take what feels like a highly administrative, confusing ordeal and transform it into a really clear, actionable roadmap. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today, taking you from the exact moment of impact all the way to your final settlement. We'll be hitting the first steps after impact, initiating your claim, the adjudication workflow, navigating repairs and shops, overcoming denials and delays, and wrapping up with FAQs and final thoughts.
Section 1. First steps after impact.
Now, a successful insurance claim doesn't actually start when you finally call your agent. It starts right there on the road, in the immediate aftermath of the crash. We all know those moments are incredibly chaotic, right? Your adrenaline is just through the roof, and it's honestly so easy to make a split-second mistake that could completely jeopardize your coverage later on. So what are the absolute first things you should do? Well, you have to prioritize your safety first, and then immediately pivot to gathering objective evidence. Here's the exact step-by-step protocol right out of the shelter manual. First things first, check for injuries and call 911. Then, if you can, relocate your car to a safe shoulder. Next up, you need to exchange information with the other driver. But listen, don't just grab a name and a phone number. You need their physical address and, most crucially, the vehicle's full 17-digit VIN. That's the vehicle identification number. You need that to verify it actually matches their active policy. After that, pull out your phone and take wide-angle scene photos plus close-ups of the damage. Now, pay really close attention to step 5. If your car is so damaged it needs to be towed, you must record the exact towing company name, the storage facility address, and their contact number before your car is moved. You do not want to lose track of your vehicle. And finally, step 6. This is an absolutely massive legal safeguard. Never, ever admit guilt or apologize at the scene. Fault is a really complex legal determination based on evidence and statutes. If you make speculative comments on the side of the road, it can seriously complicate shelter's ability to defend you later.
Section 2. Initiating your shelter claim.
Okay, so the dust is settled, you're finally back home on your couch, and now the next phase begins, officially notifying shelter insurance. And this brilliantly illustrates your 3 main intake options. First, you've got the corporate hotline. It's available 24/7 for everyone involved. Then there's the My Shelter web portal if you want to securely upload documents from your computer. But honestly, look at that third column, the My Shelter app. With the latest version 5.16.0 update, this is by far the most modern, hassle-free method. It has biometric login, so you can just use your face or thumbprint. You can upload real-time photos straight into your claim file, and it gives you automated push notifications. That means you don't have to keep calling them to find out what's going on.
Section 3. The adjudication workflow.
So you hit submit on your claim. What actually happens next behind the scenes? Your file enters what's called the adjudication workflow. It sounds fancy, but it's just a structured 4-stage process on the adjuster's desk. Stage 1 is intake and registration. The absolute most important thing to take away here is that you will get a unique claim tracking number. Write this down. I mean it. Put it on your fridge. Put it in your phone. You have to slap this number on every single receipt and document you send them, or you're going to face processing delays. Stage 2 is the adjuster review. This is where they check if your policy was actually active, look at permissive use clauses, and figure out liability. Stage 3 is estimate evaluation. The adjuster looks at the repair estimates and any out-of-pocket stuff you paid for, like those towing fees. And finally, Stage 4, final settlement. You sign the release documents and you get your payout minus your deductible, of course. Now, to speed up that third stage we just talked about, Shelter offers this cool digital option called the quick estimate process. If you qualify, they text you a secure link, you snap some photos of the damage, and boom, it goes straight to a desk adjuster. It completely bypasses waiting for an in-person field inspection, which means you get your money way faster. But you have to know the limitations here. A photo-based estimate is a real game changer for a scraped bumper, but a photo cannot see hidden internal mechanical issues or a bent chassis. If you even suspect there's structural damage under the hood, going with the traditional in-person field inspection is usually the much safer route, even if it takes a little bit longer.
Section 4. Navigating repairs and shops.
All right, the estimate is done, and now we move into the actual physical repair phase. This is where you really need to know your rights about where your car gets fixed. You're probably going to hear the acronym DRP, which stands for Direct Repair Program. This is basically a certified network of collision shops. Think of places like Crash Champions that partner up with insurers. They agree to pre-negotiated rates, the billing is super streamlined, and it usually comes with a lifetime warranty on the work. It's very convenient. However, I want to be perfectly clear and totally neutral here. A foundational right of auto insurance is that you can legally choose any independent repair shop you want. Shelter literally cannot force you to use their specific network. You are in the driver's seat on that one. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is just how complex modern car repairs have become. For something like minor hail damage, shops use what's called paintless dent repair, or PDR. But please listen to the insurers on this. Stay away from those DIY dent kits you see online. They will crack your paint and ruin your clear coat. Plus, modern vehicle panels aren't just sheets of metal anymore. They're packed with complex sensors and electrical systems. Because of this, whether you go to a network shop or an independent one, when they finally take the car apart, they almost always find hidden damage. When that happens, the shop creates a supplemental estimate. The good news? They send this directly to your shelter adjuster to negotiate the extra costs, so you don't have to be the middleman playing telephone.
Section 5. Overcoming denials and delays.
Let's be real for a second. Unfortunately, not every claim sails through smoothly. Sometimes you run into friction, delays, or even a dreaded denial letter. If you do get denied, you have to understand why. Taking some legal insight here from Trey Morris Injury Lawyers, the most common reasons Shelter might deny a claim include liability disputes, meaning they think you were at fault. Or maybe the total damages simply exceeded your specific policy limits. It also happens if you violate your policy agreement, like, say, driving under the influence. And obviously, any kind of fraud or misrepresenting the damage is a guaranteed way to get shut down. But hey, if you feel a denial is totally unjustified, don't panic. You have options. You just need to be strategic. First, read that denial letter carefully to see exactly what their reasoning is. Next, gather new evidence. Maybe there's an amended police report or a witness you didn't talk to initially. Then, you or a lawyer can file a formal demand letter explaining exactly why they got it wrong. This usually kicks off negotiations for a fair settlement. If they still won't budge, filing a lawsuit is your final escalation. Also, just a quick tip, if you aren't denied but your car is just sitting at the shop forever, it's usually because the shop is waiting on Shelter to approve those supplemental estimates we mentioned. If that happens, be the squeaky wheel. Keep communicating persistently with your assigned adjuster to get things moving. Section 6, FAQs and Final Thoughts. As we get near the end of our explainer today, let's rapid fire through a couple of the most common questions people have. Here's a classic. You're cruising down the highway, a semi-truck kicks up a massive rock, and smack, your windshield cracks. Does Shelter actually cover damage from flying debris? The short answer is yes, absolutely. Windshield damage falls under your comprehensive coverage, which is the part of your policy that protects against non-collision events. But remember, this is an optional coverage you have to actually select when you buy your policy, and you might still have to pay your deductible out of pocket before they cover the rest of the replacement.
Here is another one that causes a ton of stress. Once you file, you're just waiting around. How do you actively track the progress of your claim so you don't feel like you're completely in the dark?
So the crucial point here is that you don't have to guess. You can track real-time updates right on the My Shelter app. Check the online web portal or just call the claims department. But whatever you do, remember what we talked about earlier. Have that unique claim number ready to go so you can bypass the automated menus and get your answers fast. Just a quick heads up before we wrap up today. The information we've covered in this explainer is purely for educational purposes. Every single situation is different, and individual policy limits and local laws dictate your actual coverage. So always consult your specific shelter insurance policy documents or chat with a qualified professional to get guidance for your unique situation. Let's move to and see how this builds to one final thought for you. If you were in an accident today, literally right this second, do you know exactly what your current policy limits actually cover? Filing a claim is infinitely less stressful when you aren't guessing about your coverage on the side of the road. Don't wait for the tow truck to show up to find out what you're paying for. Do yourself a massive favor. Take just 10 minutes tonight, log into the My Shelter app, check your coverages, and make sure you're fully protected for whatever lies ahead. Thank you so much for learning with us today.